Hello, and thank you for joining us for this short video on two alternative assessments. In other videos, we've talked about how to switch quickly to remote delivery from the more traditional methods of teaching, face-to-face lectures, which are often paired with traditional midterm and final exams and the usual term papers, to a more integrated approach of assessment. As you can see, you have many options for alternative assessments in remote delivery. Choices such as annotated bibliographies, portfolios, presentations, and so on are described in our instructor guides. The link to these instructor guides is provided at the end of this video. This video deals specifically with two alternative assessment methods: how to develop and provide an open book take-home exam and integrated ongoing assessment. We'll begin with the discussion of the open book take-home exam. Open book take-home exams are opportunities for instructors to evaluate student learning in a wide variety of ways. You can analyze a student's ability to describe or illustrate course concepts in depth. You can also evaluate a comprehensive set of learning outcomes. The way it works is that the exam question or questions are given ahead of time. Open book take-home exams encourage students to think in more analytic, creative, and critical ways. By definition, since the exam is open book, your expectations can be high. It will be important for you to be clear with the students about how much time you will expect them to use to prepare and how familiar they need to be with the course materials. Having clarified your expectations and having determined what type of submission they will provide, will help you decide how much time you need to give them in terms of hours or days to complete the exam once you have provided the exam questions. Here at the U of R, the due date for the take-home exams must be the final exam date set by the registrar's office. There are several benefits of open book take-home exams. One is that the design of the questions will challenge the learner to respond by using critical and analytical thinking. And if you're able to design the questions so that you can accept submissions that provide authentic elements, it will be more difficult for students to cheat. You'll want to make decisions about the open book take-home final exam when you are planning the course and not at the end of the course. That way, you'll be able to describe your expectations as far as the quality of the submissions, since you can talk about it. You can also consider accepting varied types of submissions and can give students a chance to practice or to submit similar assignments during the course. You can have students complete a practice take-home exam. It doesn't necessarily have to be graded. Several can be reviewed in discussion forum or during a Zoom seminar to help answer students' questions. Advanced decisions about the questions on the slide will help you determine how to write the exam so as to encourage authentic responses. You will be better able to decide how long to give the students to complete the exam as well. When you consider the type of course materials that you want students to use to prepare, why not consider items such as discussion forum commentary or any anecdotes that you might have mentioned in your online content or your video lectures? You'll need to make a decision about any citation requirements. If you want students to submit using regular citation, you'll need to give them more time to complete the exam. It may help encourage creativity to instead have students use a reasonable method of sourcing references, such as the text, page 217, or the October 9 discussion forum comment about critical thinking, for example, rather than requiring strict academic citation. Consider the submission types that you're able to accept. You might want to think about recorded presentations and videos. It is worth noting that for students to prepare even a short video, say 3 to 5 minutes, it will take them some time to produce. So you need to factor that in when you're setting the time to give students to complete the exam. It's usually a good idea to give them a shorter time to write their exam, such as 1 or 2 days, because then students won't have a lot of time or any time to confer with each other or to do any external research to find answers that they haven't generated. As mentioned before, your grading expectations can be high for this type of alternative final exam. It's very helpful if you provide your expectations to students so that they know how much work to put in beforehand. If you have designed a complex question that needs students to integrate their course learning with authentic experience, or requires them to attempt to solve a complex problem, they won't be able to do it if they haven't reviewed the course materials ahead of time. They need to study before you provide the exam questions and use the time once you've given the question to create their responses. The exam responses will be of higher quality if you have explained to them how many hours they should put in to review the materials, which materials they need to review, how much time they'll have to complete once you give them the exam questions, how long you expect their responses to be, and how rigorously you'll grade their writing and other submissions. A grading criteria or rubric, which you discussed with students prior, will be very helpful. When you think about writing the exam question or questions, consider using question types that require students to relate the theoretical knowledge they've acquired to apply to some authentic problem or complex situation which has no simple answer. Higher order questions that require students to solve, develop, critique, or evaluate scenarios will be very helpful. You will encourage student originality and make it more advantageous for them to use the time to work on their own solutions. Since the exam question will be out there, it may not be worth it to use it again in another exam. It could instead become a practice question during your next course for students to do a take-home practice exam. We've talked in depth about how to design open book take-home exams. I hope we've provided you with many ideas as to how to proceed to integrate these into your courses. Now we'll discuss the second type of alternative assessment, integrated ongoing assessment. Take-home exams can be a part of this type of assessment. Integrated ongoing assessment is a way of approaching assessment as a whole. Several initial assignments can form a part of a large assignment due later in the course. Assignments can be used as building blocks to require increasingly sophisticated segments to be submitted. An initial assignment can be lower stakes or even practice pieces. This method of integrating assessment at strategic points within your course can help ease the burden on both you and the students by avoiding that large end-of-term assignment due, often with heavy grading requirements. Integrated assessments provide students the ability to correct their path earlier in the course and ensure that their core understandings are sufficient. Many assignments can scaffold together. For example, students could first submit an annotated bibliography or literature review, then a practice outline for a presentation, project, or portfolio. Or they could submit an outline and later produce a web page, a reflective paper, or a presentation, either group or individual. Your overall assessment strategy could integrate one or more of these along with an open book exam. There are many ways to use integrated ongoing assessment. You can add this style of assessment into your courses over time by building one or more elements each time you deliver your course.
For more information and lots of practical ideas, go to our UR Courses Guides page at this link shown at the bottom of this slide. Use the live buttons within the blue squiggle that we've added to this screenshot to navigate to the resources that most interest you as you move to remote teaching. This video was brought to you by Flexible Learning's Remote Learning Team. We are here to help.